You're not going to want to miss this one. Stay tuned for the next part in our muzzleloader accuracy series. Hi folks, Chris here with Jarvis Outdoors. Continuing on with our muzzleloader accuracy series. It's been a little while since I did a video in this series, but I wanted to touch on the importance of having a quality optic and how that is helping with the accuracy of these muzzleloaders. So if you follow along in the series, it's been a little while since I did a video, but started off with consistency, cleaning the barrel, cleaning the breech, cleaning in between shots at the range, and then did a video on our the particular load that we found that worked really well for us. So if you followed along in the series, you know that we were doing a lot of testing. We shot a lot of bullets, a lot of powder, and we've been testing with two guns, a CVA Optima, and the other gun we've been using is a CVA Acura. So just to touch back on the load, what we found worked really well for us was a Hornady 250 grain SST muzzleloader bullet, and that is has a the Hornady low drag sabot, and it's being propelled by a 100 grain 250 white hot pellet. So it's a 100 grain total load in the charge. So as you can see here on this target, and this target means a lot to us once we get back into the scope, but you can see there is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shot group at 100 yards with a muzzleloader, and that's pretty consistent considering when we started this whole process many years ago, we could barely get 4 or 5 shots to consistently hit this paper. So we've come a long way from that to this tight little group. I think that's probably about a 2-inch group, and with a muzzleloader and shooting pelletized propellant, the pellets, that's pretty good. We're pretty happy with that. So we started off with a lower cost scope, and in this whole process did a lot of research on what we wanted to go to for a better scope. And what I found within our price range, what we were looking for is the Leupold VX Freedom, and this is the 3x9x40, and it has their CDS reticle. So what this does, this is a great scope. It comes from a great company made here in the USA. It's got a lifetime guarantee on it. And what it does is it allows you to have get a custom dial made for your load and caliber, and it allows you to adjust your elevation based on that load, and it's a super easy process. So a little bit about the scope. Like I said, it's a Leupold Freedom or VX Freedom 3x9x40 matte finish 1-inch tube. It has their scratch resistant lenses. It's waterproof, fog proof, and like I said, made in the USA with a lifetime warranty. So, and it's right in a very doable price point, especially for us since we were doing two. They were $2.99 a piece, and got them shipped right from Leupold. Super easy. So what the CDS system does is it allows you, like I said, to have a custom elevation turret made for your load. So this particular turret is set up for our 250 grain muzzleloader bullet. So it's actually a 45 caliber bullet with the low drag sabot for the 50 caliber gun. So you do need a little bit to make this work properly, you do need a chronograph so you can get an average velocity, feet per second, to make this dial work. So there's a whole little chart and order form on Leupold's website. We'll jump over to that and I'll let you see how that process is here in a second. But you go into that order form, fill it out. If it's your first turret that you're ordering, after you get the scope, you enter your serial number in the form and it will give you the turret for free. They ship it right to you. So I'm gonna jump over to that order form. I'll show you how that works and then I'll get back to you in a second. So when you're ready to order your CDS ballistic dial, go to Leupold's website and find the CDS ballistic dials in their shop. Click on that, then you'll select the style that you prefer. There's a bunch of different styles there. Personally, we like the original style, so select that. Then go down and you'll enter the serial number on the scope, which is found on the bottom side of the scope. This is where once you enter the serial number, you can click validate, and if you have a coupon still for your first dial, you'll get it for free. Then you'll enter in the information. So cartridge caliber. So for us, 50 caliber for the muzzleloader. Then you will go down and enter the bullet weight in grain. So for us, 250 grains. Bullet type was Hornady SST muzzleloader bullet. And then you will enter in your ballistic coefficient. You can find that online like we did, or sometimes it's on the box itself. So 0.210 for us. Then you'll enter in your actual muzzle velocity in feet per second. So you'll need a chronograph to do this, which we have one. So we shot a 5-shot group and our average muzzle velocity was 1683.25. Then you'll have to enter in your average altitude. So for us, we found that 1,000 feet is right in the middle for all the places we hunt. So it's a good average. So 1,000 feet. Then you'll enter in the average temperature. So we figured that we hunt in early season when it's warm, late season when it's cold. So for our average temperature, we decided on 55 degrees Fahrenheit. So then the next thing you'll have to enter in is your sight in 0. So we went with a 100-yard sight in. And then the last thing for the information will be your sight height. So our scope is mounted 1.5 inches above the bore. So then this is where you would click add to cart, pay your $80, and your CDS dial will come to you. If, like I said, if you had the first dial, your free code, you would just enter in the information at checkout and get it for free. So as you can see, it's super easy with that order form to be able to just quickly get on there, enter in your information. Like I said, you do need the chronograph to get the average velocity. So we got one online. It's a Caldwell. I think I paid a little less than $100 for it. It worked perfectly. Did the 5-shot group, got my average velocity, and entered that into the order form, the chart, and Leupold printed it out. Good to go. So the other two pieces of information that were kind of critical, not super critical, but you needed in there was feet in elevation and an average temperature. So what I did for that was I figured out the places that we hunt: Ohio, Kentucky, Maryland, Pennsylvania. I looked at the elevations of the places we hunted and figured out, since we're here on the eastern side of the country, a good elevation was about 1,000 feet. And if you look on their website, the information says you can be plus or minus. So I went with an average. We went with 1,000 feet. And then you also needed the average temperature. It's not super critical, but what I did is I figured we hunt in the early muzzleloader season when it can be 70, 80 degrees, and we hunt in the late muzzleloader season when it could be 20 or 30 degrees. So I went with that, and I came up with a number of 55 degrees. So I've shot the gun cold, I've shot the gun hot. It hasn't made any difference whatsoever in the point of impact. So got that information in, and then when the dial showed up, it's started at our 100-yard 0, and it goes all the way up to 250 yards. So I have shot this gun to 150, I think 175 once. using the dials, and the point of impact is dead on. And that goes all back to the consistency of our load and loading it. So really happy with how this worked out. And it's super simple. Once you get the dial, you take off the generic dial that comes with it, and it's just a couple set screws. Once it's set, you put it in place, you set the dials back, you're good to go. So it's really important to have a good quality optic when you're trying to achieve accuracy. Like I said, it goes back to the consistency of everything. You have a scope that you know is gonna stay consistent. It's not gonna change. You're not gonna have to worry about something happening in between shots. So a good quality optic in a price point that is very doable. So like I said, $299 shipped to us straight from Leupold. And you can clearly see between, like I showed you before, between the load and a good quality optic, you can achieve groups like that at 100 yards. So exactly what we've been looking for. It's worked really well for us. It did take a ton of work to get there. A ton of work, a ton of time, a ton of money with the different loads and all that stuff, but we've achieved super accuracy with the convenience of a pelletized load. So like I said, we could go to a loose powder and we can even tighten that up even tighter, but for what we're getting right there and where we hunt, we're not shooting much over 100 yards. We might be able to stretch it out to 150 sometimes, but 100 yards is right where we're at. So I think you should check them out. I think you'd be really happy. And this isn't just for a muzzleloader. You can use this system on anything. Muzzleloader, shotgun, rifle, depending on what. I think I'm getting ready to order one and put on my son's 350 Legend just because I'm so happy with how it works. So I'll put a link in the description below if you would like to purchase one of these. I think you won't be disappointed if you do that. You can also follow along with what we're doing on Instagram at Jarvis_outdoors. And you can check us out on our website at www.jarvisoutdoors.com. And if you can, give this video a thumbs up and a follow if you can. That really helps us out. And hit the little notification bell if you'd like to be notified when we upload new content. So really appreciate you watching. Get you one of these orders. I don't think you'd be disappointed.
Wanted to take a moment to thank our sponsors and our friends. Deer 30 Minerals, Rhinos Hunting Blinds, Unlimited Shield Hunt, Hunter Safety Systems, Whitetail Specialty Taxidermist, Ultimate Stitch Embroidery, and Criswell Automotive.